Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back for another recording of Hearthstone. So we still need one more victory with the priest. Wow, we must have only gotten one victory all the last recording. I thought we'd done more. I guess I was blathering around too much. So I need 5 victories. That'll definitely get us into 3 recordings at least. We're back on ranked runs. Uh, I suppose with every new month, new season starting, uh, the beginning of the month will be the longest and hardest section of playing Hearthstone, and it potentially will give us a 4th or 5th recording
The light shall bring victory.
every recording session, which means it will be the opportunity to get further ahead. I guess I want to be at least 60 days ahead on everything, except for spotlights and brand new games.
Job done.
Ideally, the transition that will eventually come once I am in a position where I am free to get all new games, every single independent game that comes out every week, which is still a major problem even for the biggest of YouTubers. If people are going out and buying every single one, it's still definitely a consideration. It's still definitely something that is apparent in their checkbooks. But once I get to something like that, then I will hopefully be so far ahead on the standard things that we can just start throwing in extra things, which is in itself a little ridiculous because I'm already doing 5 episodes a day. Throwing in a 6th, or 7th, or 8th episode one day is rather a lot. But I am also going to eventually run out of things, old things to play and do. And when that happens, I am hoping that I will have enough of the new games. Right now it's kind of more of a scale where I'm gonna 6 months down the line when the next summer sale comes around, I'll buy all the games that were worth playing like 6 months previous, and then if keep on doing that. Right now is the situation, so I'll just always be 6 months behind, and I don't want to do that. I want to catch up. I want to also, right now, when playing things like Tomb Raider 1 is a deep retrospective of a game. There's not a real reason. I'm probably one of the few people that's gonna bother to do that.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Does
Let's
this
see.
hurt?
I'll heal that. Get that up. And of course, the only reason why I am playing Tomb Raider is because Tomb Raider 1 is because I got the whole collection. Quickly, I will have all the collections of everything that make any sense.
Get behind me.
If we want to start to talk about things I should have gotten and couldn't afford or didn't get for some other reason, it's definitely going to be like the Hitman collection. I should have gotten that. There's a new Hitman game coming out. It would have been worthwhile.
Does this hurt?
Let's see.
Hit
just go ahead and hit that guy in the face, I guess. So next turn, I definitely want to play Muko's champion and then heal this guy.
There is a lot at stake here.
Let's see, what else should I have gotten, but I didn't? Well, if there probably was time to get Batman. I think Batman had already come out and already, like, been mentioned or made obvious enough to me that it wasn't gonna be a great game. So I could have gotten, like, all the old Batman games. There we go.
Does this hurt?
Is this gonna do it? Oh no, it leaves them down with 1 life. So as long as this guy doesn't die and I can heal, I'm fine. If this guy does die, that's fine. But if he doesn't, I've won. If this guy doesn't die, I've won. He cannot put enough taunts on the board right now, I don't think, to stop me. Oh shoot, really? Wow. So yeah, I definitely would have wanted to get the Hitman collection. Definitely would have wanted to maybe play Batman, the previous Batman games, see if I can get those to struggle through those. I did play the original one, and I kind of liked the story, but I hated the gameplay, and I don't think the gameplay has changed at all.
Let the hunt begin.
Maybe I could
Light
play it
shall
on
bring
easy and it
victory.
wouldn't be a big problem, but maybe it would have. Just the whole combo system where you, I think that was the game where you can't even actually defeat the person unless you do a combo in certain points. And so you just end up having to struggle through this fight over and over again to get a combo or a quick time event or something.
I smell blood.
Let's see, what else? Fallout 3. I don't think I got that, even though at times I think I said I did get it. I got Skyrim instead. The reason why I'm so confused about what I got or not is because things were definitely put into the shopping cart and then removed.
Get in there and fight, dragon.
I would go like each day and put things on that were daily sales in the shopping cart, and then I'd go back and say, alright, now do I want to take this out? Do I want to which one of these two things is worth more? And a lot of hard decisions had to be made. So Fallout, the whole Fallout collection, it would have been kind of weird to go back and play Fallout 1 because it really has no, it's not even the same company that makes Fallout 3 and 4. But it would be kind of interesting retrospective
In the light's name.
to show how much that game has changed, because it has changed quite a lot. Let's see, what else would we want to do? I wanted to get the Ghostbusters game. That would have made sense. Why does that make sense? Because there's going to be a new Ghostbusters movie sometime this year, I think. Maybe next year. There's enough interest there that it would at least happen, and the Ghostbusters game is a decent game. There is definitely an untold number of other games let's see, like independent games, things I couldn't even remember. One of the games I wanted to get recently, and I looked for it on Steam and it's not there, is Rez. I played that on the 360, and I think it's pretty unique and pretty cool game, and I would have been cool that if I could have played that on the PC.
Fine, I'll want.
Yep, I've lost. I would want to play Rez. I would go back and play Child of Light or Child of Eden, whatever it's called, the sequel-ish to the game. It's a music-based game, and that's really where, in a unique way, I like that. But it's not on Steam, so I guess let me know in the comments if you can get Rez somewhere else on PC. I could certainly investigate it, but I am kind of limiting myself to Steam games. Oh, I absolutely wanted to get the Lego games from Traveler's Tales. Just get a bunch of those. No collection there, as far as I saw. There was no bundle or collection that was really on sale. So each individual game was marked down when they were on sale for differing amounts. The newest games were getting like 10 to 15% off. The oldest games were getting somewhere around 80% off at most. So that even the oldest games weren't getting the deep discounts that I would have preferred.
Ready for action.
Now it occurs to me to say I am getting more free games these days. I don't know what happened, what flip got switched, that people started
In the light's name.
actually doing things I sign up for and retweet like a bunch of Twitter garbage that I'm surprised nobody who follows me hasn't said quit doing that yet, but whatever. I guess people don't even see it. But half of those things are probably scams, but some of them are paying off, and I'm getting more free games, and the more free games of randomness is probably a good thing. It's a new way I can learn of a new game. I would have wanted, didn't know it at the time, but I would have wanted to get some of the old point-and-click adventure games, like, in particular, the Monkey Island series, because now I have the Traveler's Tales Monkey Island game, Tales from Monkey Island, but none of the predecessors, which is going to be a little weird when I play that, but it doesn't really matter. There was a new Sierra game, so if King's Quest game that's come out, I would like to play that, so if I want to play the new one, I could have gotten the old ones. It's kind of that thing, is what are the even slightly big games that are coming out now? What are the old versions or something that references that or puts it behind that? I probably could have gotten a Final Fantasy or two. You could probably get away with playing any Final Fantasy things. There was a recent Final Fantasy remake that people are not happy with, which
In the light's name.
I guess inherently isn't that surprising.
My fate is sealed.
Let's see. Getting the Mickey Mouse or Disney game would have been nice. That probably would have got me some
For the
views,
king!
and probably should be somewhere on the list. Inherently, I think most Disney games are made just to rip off kids, so they're pretty bad. Like, there's a Frozen tile game that is on Steam, and it just has horrible reviews. And everybody says it's garbage, and I'm like, well, alright. So, do I really want to go spend my effort reviewing that game? Particularly since it's just a puzzle game. Knowing that it's just a puzzle game.
Face the light.
The fact that there might be a Elsa and Anna image on the side, it doesn't really solve a lot of things, and I don't want to really go into that realm of these terrible Disney things that probably don't even have the licenses half the time. And I don't want to go into terrible games in general. What's the point, really? What I see no point in my own mind, at least, of
Are you afraid of the dark?
playing games that from the beginning I know are terrible.
Face
It's
the
just,
light.
I see no reason if I know they're terrible. There are definitely some old games I would like to play. I'd like to see if I could get like some of those old live action Sega CD games
Ready for action!
to play, but I don't think any of those ever came to PC, or maybe they did. Well, there was one called Double Switch that I played on PC a long time ago. I played it so much that the CD started scratching.
So
And-
many options.
I'd have to figure out if I could play that. That would be interesting. Go back and play that. It'd probably look awful for the resolution. Alright. So I want to do this.
Face the light.
There we go. I would love to play Night Trap because of its historical reason more than anything else.
For the king!
I never played that. I wasn't very much. I didn't have a Sega or any of the Sega consoles as a kid, so I would actually have to play that at friends' houses, and so I played very little of it. Like a little Sonic. You can probably tell, most people would probably agree that I'm not a very good Sonic fan because I think Sonic Spinball is probably the best one.
I can't do that.
And
Feel my pain.
I did like Sonic 1 and 2, but I only got a few levels into them.
Pass me that
Games those days, for pretty much most NES Sega games, if you try to go back and play them today, just to say if we were to plug in an NES or Sega and play them today, so not even bothering with trying to actually get it to run, you're gonna realize very fastly that they are short games, pretty short games. Nothing can make me forget the general idea of The Legend of Zelda for NES. Nothing's gonna make me forget most of that game. Same is true for Ocarina of Time, and that was a pretty long game, so I probably do forget some of that, but not enough. And games are very derivative, so when you see me or if you've seen me play a modern game and go, okay, I've got exactly what I know, what needs to happen. The reason why I know is because I've played so many of the earlier games. Going back to play the earlier games is going to very much feel like I just am clairvoyant and know exactly what to do before it even gives any hint to what you're supposed to do. So yeah, I don't think we'd ever do really, really old games like that unless they can do a remake, like New Super Mario Brothers. If in New Super Mario Brothers there was the original Super Mario Brothers game, then it could be a few episodes of a game, a part of a game. But I don't even think that's the case, and I think they're more
In the light's name.
happy with you actually buying it on their virtual shop. And I'm never gonna do Nintendo things anyways, and not until they change the way they deal with YouTube and Content ID. So I'm scratching my brain here, not literally, because that would be gross and unsanitary, but I don't know what other things. There's just inherently there could always be more. Is the long and short of it. A lot more
Face the
could have
light.
been gotten as far as independent games, as far as things that don't have sequels. You've heard me talk here about, well, if a new sequel is coming out, I'll go play the old games. Well, that means every single game that there isn't a sequel to, then no. Then I'm not even thinking about them. They're not even entering my mind, which they should, but I am not mentally accomplishing that task. Let's see.
Face the light.
I guess I should have healed. Oh well.
You have been.
I want to do like Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 at some point. I wanted to do Zombie U, which is now just called Zombie for the Steam version, was a game I wanted to play in the future. So, well, I wanted to play when it came out as Zombie U. So I definitely would want to play that. That's a prequel. It came out after the Steam sale, but I definitely would have wanted to play that. Not a lot of people seem to have stayed with that, though.
Anduin versus
So,
Gul'dan.
this very well may be just who I watch on
The light shall
YouTube,
bring
and
victory.
a lot of them are mind crack. So, let me put it that way. I'm trying to branch out. Let me know in the comments of people who you would suggest, but
I greet you.
I am definitely trying to see more. If I do that. Oops. Well, I just wasted a coin for nothing. Let's try this again.
In the light's name.
Job's done.
But yeah, the Beyond Good and Evil, I would want to play that again. It'd probably be about the third time I played Beyond Good and Evil in the past 5 years, so it would be kind of a high repetition there, but I'll do that for my channel. I did get Oddworld for free recently, so actually that will be one that that changes things.
Job's done.
Now, that'll be a new one I start, but I may put that off so that I can get the other Oddworld games. I also got Amnesia, The Dark Descent for free, so I'll probably play that, and you will see why I don't particularly think I'm a good candidate to play.
In the light's name.
Let's try this.
Job's done.
To play horror games. I will play horror games, though. I'm definitely... it'd be hard to be a YouTuber and not play horror games, but you're just gonna see I'm gonna take it pretty seriously. Recently, for my time, both The Walking Dead Season 1 and Season 2 have finished, and I think I definitely played Season 1 a lot differently than I played Season 2. I think they probably wrote it a lot differently. Just in their sense of how's this gonna work? I'll bring this out. Do this.
Job's done.
They made it a lot more focused on being survivalistic, or at least I made it a lot more focused on being survivalistic. I turned poor Clementine in the second season into a cold-blooded, calculating zombie killing machine, and you didn't have to do that. There definitely was options there where you wouldn't have had to play that way.
I'll heal.
But it seemed as intelligent, as smart to go down that path, and everybody in the second season in particular were not being useful. That, I guess, inherently is the difference between the first season and the second season, and this is all spoilers, by the way, if you haven't realized. But it's kind of obvious in the first season. Everybody's trying to work together to some extent. Everybody is trying to get to a specific place, trying to survive against zombies. By the second season is mostly focused not really on the zombies, because it got to the point where they all can kind of handle themselves against zombies, and it's much more about the people. And so the people stopped working together, and they were different people, and they never worked together.
How many fingers do you see?
In the second season, and that caused this rift where you're really just killing or eliminating people. You don't really in the second season end up killing too many. You just eliminate them, allow the zombies to kill them. Alright, how can we do this?
How many fingers do you see?
Does this hurt?
The damned stand ready.
Let's see. Whenever a character is healed, gain to attack. Let's do it. So, yeah, what's ironic about the season 2 is you could have ended up with Kenny and made it to Wellington. That was definitely an option. But Kenny was just so unstable. Every single interaction screams, this guy cannot keep it together. And even at the end of the game, I'm still saying he could not keep it together.
Shall return.
Let's see.
Job's done.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm really talking about it.
I've got the beast in my
But, oh yeah, because I was talking about horror games, and that's exactly what I would do in a horror game, is I would be a cold, calculating type person who...
Are you afraid of the dark?
would... I'm lost no matter what, so we might as well just end this now. I'd be cold and calculating, and then jump scares might get me every now and then, but nothing else really is going to. See, I don't know how to really say this conversation, but there are people I meet, quite a lot, just random people, not important people, which that's a statement in itself, but let's move on. Who
asked for it.
I will
Shall bring victory.
ask them this question, and sometimes I get surprised, so it's not like can just generalize everybody. But I'll ask them if they seem like a bright, happy type person. I'll ask them, so are you one of those type of people that cannot watch horror movies? Not that they don't watch horror movies, which often is the surprise response I will get sometimes. Because they'll go, yeah, we do watch horror movies, or we don't because they're dumb, which is a very valid response to say, no, I don't watch horror movies because they're dumb. But
Someday I'll be just like you.
But more often than not, and I'd say careful how you approach this, but try this at home. You will run into people that say they just absolutely cannot watch horror movies.
Face the
And
light.
don't ask, I'd say, anybody who is younger than 16, because that's not really a fair response. Of course, little kids are gonna probably not be allowed to watch horror movies or go into the movie theater and see them, and kids are scared of things anyway, so I don't feel that that would be a useful metric for your experiment here. But you will run into adults, so I do. You say they just can't do it. That if they even start to think about horror movies, it scares them. And I'm like, wow. And the reason I'm wow, I have to say more than just wow, because I'm just talking here and people can't read my mind, is it is an indicator to me that if you say you can't even think about horror movies, that you cannot even create a scenario in your mind whatsoever where you can even contemplate it,
Face the
you've
light.
at some level not built a clear enough wall, a thick enough wall between what is reality and what is fiction. And it happens a lot more than you would think. It happens a lot more than you would think. Now, the reason I find that intriguing, which probably isn't that intriguing, it's just I'm probably obsessed with it, is then, of course, as a video game player and as a seasoned player of video games, I feel that I have built up a very, very thick wall between what is reality and what is fiction. And so I know video games aren't real, obviously. But sometimes saying the obvious things out loud helps people. And I'll say that to people too. It's like, people will say, how can you watch all scary movies, or how can you play all those violent video games? And I'm like, well, I know video games aren't real. And then turn it right back around them and go, do you know that they're not real? Now that's very contradictory if I say that out loud, but confrontatory. But that's my indication right there is, wait a minute, I know they're not real. Do you? Then the implication is, don't say it out loud, but just imply maybe you don't recognize that. So someone's spectating me right now. They probably have the quest. Now the question is, can they hear what I'm saying? I would ask the spectator, if you can hear what I'm saying right now as I'm recording a YouTube video, type in the comments and see if it pops up.
Embrace the void.
That would be an interesting experiment. Let's try this. Who is spectating me right now? Fantasy FWG. So back to my story. So yeah, I go around and I ask people, are you one of the type of people that can't watch horror movies? And that tells me a lot about them. And as far as me playing horror games, I'm getting a little repetitive here, but when I play them, they're not gonna be I'm not gonna have a camera on my face, probably. I probably would never do that. I'm not gonna be screaming. I'm not gonna be playing it up. I'm just gonna be playing the game like I normally would play the game. Any other game, I'll talk incessantly as a YouTuber and comment on the gameplay, comment on the things. The only game that has ever scared me at all, so just throwing out jump scares, the only game that has ever scared me at all was Condemned, and that scared me because they were doing a very masterful work of lighting and visual tricks. There was one scene where you're in a department store and the mannequins would move every time you're not looking at them, which is a great use of a video game media, because you really couldn't have done that any other way, because it knew, because it was a video game, when you were looking at them and when you were oh, he stopped watching. That sucks. I don't think he has confidence that I'm gonna win. So there was a lot of things like that, and that got me one time. And I would also venture to say that when I was playing that game, I was working a job that overworked me like crazy. And so it's very possible I was under huge amounts of mental stress and a huge amount of lack of sleep too. So there could have been probably several contributing factors, oh, he's back, as to why that one scared me. And it only scared me for like one scene or two. Oh yeah, speaking of horror games, I liked the original Saw movie, and I liked the original Saw movie enough that, sorry I lost spectator, maybe I'll try back, I'll try again, but I liked it enough to go through all of the Saw, all the Saw series, and as a quick refresher, Saw 1 was an independent movie that was a dramatic, mystery, and then Saw 2 was not even a Saw movie until late into it and into production. Then Saw 3 was originally a Saw movie to my knowledge, but it wasn't made by the original creators. In fact, the original creators only made Saw 1, and then they might have had some tiny amount of input on 3 through 7, but not really. And by the time you get to 7, the story is so far away from what the original one was. It tries to connect it back, but it doesn't really succeed. But I would certainly like to play the video games. The concept of Saw, if you've never even seen them, is that there's this crazy guy named Jigsaw, at least at the beginning. A little bit of spoilers there. I guess this would be spoilers. He sets up these like horrific body destroying traps where you have to basically hurt yourself horribly to get through them. The original Saw is there is a hacksaw in a chain to the wall, and a guy chained to the wall, and then the hacksaw, of course, is not the chain through to saw through the chain, because that apparently wouldn't work, which I think it actually would work. It would just take a really long time. It's to saw through your foot, which I imagine would take even a longer time.
How many fingers do you see?
And be really, really painful. How do you get through bone? Honestly, if you're gonna saw through your foot, you might as well. I would think you would have to saw through your knee, because that would be the only place where you could disconnect it. But that jigsaw was not. The blade would have broken way before it, or you would have bled out and died way before it. But it's a movie, so whatever. So, to get back to what I was saying, jigsaw games are basically you're going to do puzzles and try and traps, and I bet it does lose a few things in a video game form, because you get back to that whole thing of, well,
how many fingers do you see?
It's not real people. So if it's not going to be real people,
in the lights,
does this hurt?
in the game, yeah, it probably wouldn't be as impactful to see things. That new game that just came out, Until Dawn, same thought. It's probably not quite as impactful because it's animated people in this horror movie than it would have been if it was real people, but I still think that's a pretty good looking game, and I wish I could play it, but it's only for PlayStation 4. We're still having that as an issue. We're still having games not come out for PC, and I thought we were over that, but it doesn't seem like we quite are.
Fine, I'll heal.
And that definitely sucks. So I think I've got this in the bag right now. If I have this right, we do this, then we play this. Not quite 30 on one hit, one turn. Not quite.
Does this hurt?
But yeah, I want to play Until Dawn. I just gotta get the capture equipment. Is the deal. I've gotta get a PlayStation 4 to play Until Dawn. So there's a $400 investment for one game already. Then I've got to get a capture card, which would probably be another $150. So you're talking $550 to play one game that will not get any views because it's too old now. So that's not realistic at all. So instead of doing that, what I'll do is I'll either never play Until Dawn, or I'll wait till it comes out with a PC version, if it ever does. Well, he's gonna get a victory this time. He's obviously struggling to get somebody to win, and I definitely understand that struggle
Does this hurt?
of trying to watch somebody win. Takes forever. There you go, 19. I got a victory that'll get him the watch and learn quest. So he'll probably stop spectating now. Spectating people to actually spectate them is actually of no real value whatsoever. Anywho, that's gonna be it for this recording. Well, the problem with spectating is you kind of have to let people spectate you, and I don't think I can just go type in the ID of some of the best players ever and watch them, because why not just watch them on YouTube, get a better edited down version, get their commentary, because I'm sure he didn't hear me at all. He didn't put anything in the comments if he did hear me. So why would you want to spectate the best players who might have some actual input on the game, unlike me in a lot of ways, because I really don't know what I'm doing on Hearthstone that much. I try. I'm learning every day, but I'm not that good. So yeah, spectating is kind of ridiculous, and the fact that there's a quest centered around it makes trouble. Even though it gives you a card pack, it makes it more difficult to get these quests done. Speaking of quests, we got 2 of the quests done today, so we only have to do 2 victories in the next recording. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna end this recording and then start the next one back to back. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. Click it and make a donation. And if you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.